Well, I was going to give a little title to today's Friday talk, but when I pressed the thing, it just started my video. So here I am. And what we're looking at here is the very center portion of the sigillum diameth or diameth, which is probably the most recognizable uh, image of the Enochian system of magic of John Dee and Edward Kelly. It's sort of like this particular one is one of four that I have in this format that I place under the table legs of my holy table in order to insulate the table from I don't know what, but it seems to work. But anyway, the reason I'm zooming in here on the pentagram is that although this pantacle here of we could call it John Dee's pantacle contains imagery and the angelic hierarchy of the seven planetary spheres in the seven-pointed star there and the spaces in between and the septagons and stuff in the middle. But the very center is a pentagram, which usually is associated with the four elements ruled by the fifth element, spirit. And right in the middle of all of that is a cross, and right in the middle of the cross is a point. Okay, and you can sort of imagine the whole thing growing out of it like that, going from the microcosm to the macrocosm to the cosm. Today I titled the talk, or I was trying to title the talk, "What has a self ever done for me?" Which is a pretty good question here. In my book, let's look at this elemental question, or a question of the elementals, from an Enochian point of view. That's what I'm going to do this morning. And it is from my book, Enochian Vision Magic. And it's chapter 27. So we've gone through a whole lot of the history. Oh, yes, I've got around my neck. This is my that's my lamen. Okay, the lamen is sort of an altered, a mutated version of the holy table that the magician wears over their chest, and is full of fingerprints and everything that this is. It is nonetheless a gold plate that Michael Strader of Monday Night Magic class made, and he put that transparency of well, it looks like this. Hang on. There it is, right there. He made a transparency of that, and then put the transparency on the plate of gold, and then covered it with a transparent resin of some kind. So very cool. And I thought I'd put it on today just for safety. No, I'm teasing you. Elemental temple openings and addressing the hierarchies is the name of this chapter, and I'm not going to read the whole chapter, obviously, because it's a heavy book. But I thought you might get a kick out of this, because why the hell would I want a sylph in my neighborhood? What's a sylph ever done for me? Well, if you're familiar with circumstances surrounding the reception of the Book of the Law in April of 1904 in a hotel room in Cairo, uh, Aleister Crowley, honeymooning with his wife, tried to show her the sylphs. And I believe, according to one story, it was the first, they spent a honeymoon night in the king's chamber of the Great Pyramid where Crowley tried to show her the sylphs. Uh, but anyway, their attempt to see the sylphs, what is the what initially put Rose into sort of a trance, and she might not have seen the sylphs, but she did say, "We got an incoming call from the god Horus. Will you accept the charges?" uh, so, at least indirectly, we all have sylphs have something to do with all of us. But anyway, uh, it opens up with an epigraph that says, "Sylphs and gnomes and undines too, salamanders beckon you." Now that's from a song Charlie Harris and I wrote and recorded many years ago, called "The Theme from Mount Oread." Why on earth would anyone wish to call upon an angel of the elements? What can a salamander, a fire elemental, do for me? When does an undine, or undine if you wish, a water elemental come in handy? Does a sylph, an air elemental, really look like Tinker Bell? Are gnomes, earth elementals, really grumpy? Is exploration of the elements a necessary prerequisite to higher magical workings? As I wrote in the prologue, the question of why magic is one that is not easily answered. The supreme goal of the magician is spiritual enlightenment and liberation of the soul. Do I expect to accomplish that end through the aid of elemental spirits? Not directly. But the elements are part of my world, or excuse me, but the elementals are part of my world, a part of my being. They move within me and around me. They dwell among themselves in their infinite numbers, ratios, and proportions. Know thyself was chiseled above the doors of the ancient temples of initiation. How can I know myself when the mysteries of the elements of my own heart and soul remain undiscovered? Enochian elemental magic is not a matter of calling up a spirit to command it to do a job for you, or to cause the girl next door to fall in love with you, or to bewitch your neighbor's cow, or kill an enemy at a distance. Instead, when you visit an Enochian elemental angel in vision, you are exploring an aspect of creation, a highly specialized area of which the angel is a visual and metaphoric embodiment. You see things the way they are in that narrow quadrant of the universe. Once armed with the insights these spiritual specialists can provide, you're better prepared to know how to go about causing the girl next door to fall in love with you, or bewitching your neighbor's cow. I understand that killing at a distance is less satisfying, as one might imagine. Does this really help the magician? First, and most obviously, it broadens his or her understanding of how the spirit world is subjective and is the subjective and underlying reality of the objective world. Just as the educated and seasoned traveler is better equipped than the novice to understand rewards and pitfalls of world travel, a magician experienced with elemental work is endowed with a greater understanding of existence. That, in and of itself, is a spiritual reward. But more than that, each willed encounter with the angels of the elements activates, readjusts, and rebalances the magician's own internal elemental components. Like the computer user who periodically defragments the hard drive of his or her computer in order to make things run more efficiently, the magician is charged and hopefully improved with every thoughtful and serious examined elemental encounter. At our Monday Night Magic class, we've developed a series of simple questions. We first ask every angel we call from an Enochian elemental tablet. Just as we would not expect any two computer hard drives to be fragmented in exactly the same way, no two magicians should expect the exact same answer to these questions. Here are a few of them. The first questions are the simplest, yet most important. And here's, let's say we've done a nice little temple opening, done some chanting, got ourselves into the activation of the holy table, then started the specific invocations and the Enochian calls for the specific elemental we're dealing with. And then when the spirit appears in vision, usually we have a main scryer in the room who's volunteered to sit in the driver's seat of the scrying session, but we're all seeing something. But then once we got the spirit, we ask the spirit questions. What is your name? You do that to confirm who you've called up. What is your nature? The next questions deal with how the angel is perceived by the human senses. What is your color? What is your sound or musical note, even if possible? How do you feel to the human touch? What do you taste like? How do you smell? Now, these you get curious, almost instantaneous answers. Peppermint and lavender. The next question deals with how the angel makes itself known to you known to us through our thoughts and emotions. How do I express you through emotions? In what form of images and ideas are you most revealed to me? When are you most manifest in my daily life? Of course, you write all this down in a journal and think harder on it later. Other questions could concern things more specific to one's own personal magical issues, but I think you get the picture. Now that we know a little more about why to practice Enochian elemental magic, let's look at how to do it. It's likely that my opinion on this subject will be slightly at odds with a number of practicing Enochian magicians. It's even more certain to receive condemnation by legions of others who don't actually perform Enochian magic, but instead enjoy speculating on how Enochian magicians should operate. Dee and Kelly contacted the angels by praying Boy, did they pray. There is nothing in the surviving records that suggests that they performed banishing rituals, drew pentagrams or hexagrams in the air, made knocks or magical gestures, or called upon the string of classic Kabbalistic Hebrew divine names from the Sephiroth of the Tree of Life. The operating procedures of the Golden Dawn and Crowley, however, do all those things and more. Here's an example of a Golden Dawn style temple opening appropriate for working with the elemental tablet of earth. Okay, and there's the elemental tablet of earth right there, which in a sense is the same spiritual forces and hierarchy of powers that is represented by the Ace of Discs in the Kabbalah. That red square would be the knight or king of discs. The blue square would be the queen of discs. The yellow square would be the prince of discs. And the green square would be the princess of discs. Put them all together, they are the elemental tablet of earth. And you see in that cross, the horizontal line of the cross, it says Mor Dial Hectica. That's the three-part God name of the tablet. Well, we'll get to that in just a moment. It's a ceremony, this is the Golden Dawn ceremony. It's a ceremony that incorporates ritual components from the Golden Dawn's neophyte degree, the grade that represents Malkuth. And Malkuth, is to home of the element of earth. The 10th and lowest Sephirah on the Tree of Life. As you can see, the ritual invokes the Kabbalistic hierarchy of divine names, archangels, and angels, traditionally attributed to Malkuth and the element of earth. Not Enochian, just Kabbalistic. The opening of the temple in the grade of 1 equals 10. You give the sign of the god set fighting. You purify the temple with water and fire and announce the temple is cleansed. Then you knock. Let us adore the Lord and King of earth. Adonai Haaretz, Adonai Melech. Unto thee be the kingdom, the scepter, and the splendor. Malkut, Gebura, Gedula, the rose of Sharon and the lily of the valley. Amen. You sprinkle some salt in front of the tablet. Very earthy. Let the earth adore Adonai. Then you make the hexagram of Saturn. Okay, probably that. Okay. And pronounce. Oh, then you make the invoking pentagram of spirit passive, because earth is a passive element. And pronounce Ehia Agla Nanta. Then you make an invoking pentagram of earth and pronounce Adonai Melech. And the Elohim said, let us make man in our own image, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. And the Elohim created Atha Adam. In the image of the Elohim created they them. Male and female created they them. In the name of Adonai Melech and of the bride and queen of the kingdom, spirits of earth, adore your creator. Now that's all pretty cool. Okay, I'm not saying that's not cooler and shit. Then you make the sign of Taurus, okay, the cherubic image of earth. And here comes the Kabbalistic hierarchy. In the name of Oriel, great archangel of earth, spirits of earth, adore your creator. Then you make a cross, and that cross is that big white cross that goes down the middle of that. Okay. In the names and letters of the great northern quadrangle, spirits of earth adore your creator. Then you sprinkle some water in front of the tablet. In the three great secret names of God. Okay, look at the horizontal line. Mor, Dial, Hectica, that art born upon the banners of the north, spirits of earth, adore your creator. Then you take your incense and you sense the tablet. In the name of Ixodecha. Okay, now it'll be hard without, but look right in the very middle of the big cross. And so you'll see sort of a lowercase I there to the left, and then a capital C. If we're going in a clockwise swirl, I C Z H I H A, and then L. But the Golden Dawn nipped it at the A. In the name of Exoteca, forgive my pronunciation. I've never been corrected by the angels. In the name of Exoteca, or Ixhahael, great King of the North, spirits of earth adore your creator. In the name of Adonai Haaretz, okay, you jump back into Kabbalah, Lord of the earth. In the name of Adonai Haaretz, I declare the spirits of earth have been duly invoked. Now that's a classic GD, even Crowley, temple opening to work with the elemental tablet of earth. For many modern Enochian magicians, rituals such as this Kabbalistically formatted degree opening of the ceremony are perfect vehicles for establishing the proper elemental environment in which to operate. For years, they were an indispensable part of my operating procedure as well. I discontinued, however, about 10 years ago. As we myopically focus on the fascinating intricacies of different magical systems, we often forget the big picture and the fact that we have only one universe to play with. There is no such thing as a separate Kabbalistic magic universe, or a separate Solomonic magic universe, or a separate Enochian magic universe. These various systems simply oblige us to view the same universe from different angles. Granted, when we look from different points of view, we see certain similarities. After all, it's the same universe. There are certain to be recognizable landmarks, but we can't expect the structure of one system's point of view to neatly match or define the other. In my opinion, it is my opinion that the spiritual forces inherent in Enochian magic are expressed units of living consciousness that reflect a uniquely structured and organized point of view in the universe, one that the communicating angels obliged Dee and Kelly to build from scratch. It is a perfect self-referential system of looking at things that cannot be expected to be consistently compatible with other self-referential systems. With all due respect to the knowledgeable and eloquent magicians who created the above temple opening, I believe that unless your sensitivities as a magical artist demands it, I believe most of it is completely unnecessary in order for you to properly activate an elemental tablet and effectively address the hierarchy of angels who rule the angel you may wish to contact. The use of various pentagrams and the hexagrams, the assumption of Samothracian elemental god form, the invocation of the various names of the Hebrew deity and traditional angels, the recitation of Bible verses that are all tried and true magical methods to access the elemental world of earth, but they are tools used in another kind of magical system. A system that views the magical universe from a slightly different angle. Music played using a different scale of notes. Please don't misunderstand me. Kabbalistic temple openings such as the one above work effectively enough for Enochian elemental operations. But what makes them work, in my opinion, is not the pentagrams, Hebrew god names, or Bible verses. They work because nestled within the ramblings and the tossing about of salt and water, the magician is required to recognize and address by name those spiritual forces, those Enochian spiritual forces and their names of the elements as they are uniquely organized and expressed in the Enochian magic system. In our example above, those names are Nanta, the great angel of earth from the Tablet of Union. Then Mor, Dial, Hectica, the three great secret names of God from the elemental tablet of earth. Mor, Dial, Hectica. The hierarchy of high elemental forces that other magical systems call Adonai Haaretz, Adonai Melech, Malkuth, the Rose of Sharon, and the Lily of the Valley. Everything the other system calls forth by means of pentagrams and gestures and Bible verses. But the Enochian temple opening are all wrapped up and neatly addressed in the Enochian system, just in the names Nanta, Mordial, Hectica, Exotica. If you conclude that my thoughts on this subject have some merit, I encourage you to customize for yourself a simple, formatted little speech that addresses by name in a proper order the various angelic personages of the hierarchies of each elemental tablet. I will outline my address to the hierarchies at the end of this chapter. But first, let's discuss what the proper procedure for an elemental working might be. Okay, that's where I'm going to stop with that particular excerpt today. This is from, once again, chapter 27 from Enochian Vision Magic. And I'm going to end, because we've been dealing with the elemental tablet of earth and the Enochian call that activates the Enochian elemental tablet of earth is the fifth call, which goes like this. Sapa zemai didiu udnoas taquonas adroch, dodpal, kaozgi, od farch peripsal tablior. Kasar mamiz pi nazarthaf lugar, zizap zledaz, kaozgi toltorgi, od zikias, esiash, el taviu, od iadil dies per al hubal, peoals sobacormfa, kistala uls od qua kosab, caniz od darbs quace, fetharzi obliora, ial edna cicles, bagle, jeyad, iel. I'll see you tomorrow for Saturday morning cartoons. And I hope you have a great weekend and enjoy this kind of spooky time of year. Until tomorrow, continue to be good to yourself, be good to each other. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will.